no major untoward incident or issues come up, even in the discussions in the different committees. Our Philippine senators and congressmen who are chairing the different committees are doing a wonderful job in steering the discussions in the respective committees. Proof of this is that, and I think this is historic, proof of this is that all 10 resolutions endorsed by the working groups have been adopted in the drafting committee, which will be then endorsed to the final plenary to be part of the joint communique to be adopted or issued as a final document of the 31st APPF. 10 resolutions were endorsed and all 10 were adopted by the drafting committee. It was a perfect score. And as I said earlier, it's historic because in many APPFs, not all the draft resolutions are adopted. It is a reflection of the amazing job put in place by the respective chairs and co-chairs, both from the House of Representatives and the Senate. And of course, the active participation of all the delegates from the 19 countries represented. These are resolutions on the following matters. Number 1, strengthening the capacity of parliaments to promote peace and stability. Number 2, on the topic on the Korean Peninsula. Number 3, combating transnational crime. Number 4, rethinking critical infrastructure. Number 5, enhancing regional cooperation on climate action, biodiversity conservation, and disaster risk reduction. Number 6, human capital development and inclusive growth. Number 7, regional cooperation through education and culture. Number 8, regional cooperation on the universal health care in the Asia Pacific. Number 9, gender sustainable development goals. And number 10, women's participation and leadership. Other than the adoption of these resolutions, we were able to lobby for our bid in the seat of the United Nations Security Council for the period of 2027 to 2028. And we secured firm and new commitments from countries that we have approached. In fact, some of them even wrote us to formalize their commitments. This is a big achievement, my dear colleagues, friends, and we are very happy that the delegation from China graciously accepted our proposed amendment. So we included, and initially they didn't want to have any mention of the UNCLOS and freedom of navigation, pero pumayag na rin sila. And so the paragraph that will be retained is recognizing, and I quote, recognizing that the maritime regime in the region based on international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention of the Laws of the Seas, UNCLOS, that sets out a legal order for the peaceful use of the seas and oceans, including freedom of navigation and overflight, and other internationally lawful uses of the sea related to these freedoms, has facilitated our region's impressive economic growth. Yan. So nakasama po natin dyan. We of course, we don't want to, without having to mention particular skirmishes na in the West Philippine Sea, South China Sea. We don't only have that problem, that's not unique to us. That is also unique to Vietnam, that is also unique to Malaysia, Indonesia. But for them to be able to recognize and agree to this, UNCLOS alone, diba, and freedom of navigation is a key essential, I'd say, statement that we are successful in producing in this event. Ngayon lang nangyari ito, wala yata ito sa last APPF. So, Philippines being a host, siguro they consider that napakalapit po sa ating puso itong mga teritoryo ito.